Hello everyone, I'm Sharod Williams, Associate AD for Operations and Competitive Excellence here at A&M Commerce. I'm joined today by Ta'Lyn Moody of Lions Softball. We have a great little setup for you here today. We're going to learn a little bit more about her journey, her family, her experiences, and things that she would like to share with young girls and women in the industry and in the world at large. And Ta'Lyn, I'd love to hear a little bit more about yourself.
Well, my name is Ta'Lyn Moody, like Sharod said, and I'm a fifth-year senior here at the university. I'm an outfielder for Lions Softball. Currently, I am pursuing my master's in secondary education, and I recently graduated, the first woman in my family to graduate with my undergrad in liberal studies.
Nice. That's a great accomplishment. So congratulations to you. I know being the first in your family to do something for a lot of people is a pleasure and a joy. And speaking of first, I know we're wrapping up Black History Month when we're recording this,
yes.
And I know your family did something that was the first.
Yes.
Obviously, and we talked about it, but I'd love for you to share the story with everyone else because I think it's pretty interesting.
So why I'm so prideful in Black history is because actually I learned my senior year of high school that my family desegregated the town I'm from. I'm from Mansfield, Texas. And Mansfield is actually one of the last cities to desegregate. So just knowing that my family had this huge impact globally, it's really kind of a shell-shock situation. You realize that they started this path, and so what can you do, to further it? So as for me and myself pursuing my master's, that's a stepping stone for the other kids in my family, my nieces, my nephews, my kids, myself, And so you always want to be able to be better, not for yourself, not for everyone else, but for yourself. You want that type of excellence that at the end of the day, when you go to sleep, you know that I'm doing the best that Ta'Lyn Moody can do. So that's what I believe that I'm doing here at the university as well.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that story because I think that is kind of a driving force behind a lot of the stuff that you do. Coming from a family that desegregated a whole town, and that's the first, right?
Yes.
And then you getting a chance off of the stuff that they did to desegregate the town, which desegregated schools most likely, that allowed the women in your family to go to school and set that, stepping stone that turns into Ta'Lyn getting to college after people probably graduated high school and probably had to go off to the workforce, but you were able to reap the benefit of what they started, since you are from Mansfield as well. So I appreciate you sharing that and how it ties all in together.
Yes, sir.
And I'd love for you to tell a little bit more of your story, your softball player. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, personally, I transferred to Texas A&M Commerce my junior year. I decided that I just needed a new start. I knew I deserved to play better softball, and I knew coming here would be great. Actually, when I was transferring, I watched them play in the Super Regionals at St. Angelo. So I remember seeing Chelsea, seeing Emiliato. I remember seeing all of them in the dugout cheering each other on, and I remember saying, that's where I want to be. I wanted to be in an environment where everyone is cheering each other on to be better. You know what I mean? I just love being here. The way that this team is, especially this year, we're always encouraging each other. We're in competition, quote unquote, but I think everyone wants everyone to be the best that they can be. Just like I said, I want to go to bed at night and know that I'm being the best Ta'Lyn Moody I can be. Well, Coach Brewster and Coach McNutt and Coach Bree, they're always establishing of just do your best. Especially this year, it's been a really weird year. COVID hit in 2020. So we saw that we were making the steps of being a national championship team, but we kind of got cut short. So after talking with Chelsea Slider this past week of the ice hitting and stuff, we were able to communicate, well, what do we want? What tone do we want to come back? And of course, you have a week and a half off, you're a little rusty, but judging by the way we talk on the field, you wouldn't think that. We come in first, I could give you an example, weight room yesterday, we wake up at 5 to get to weights at 6, we gotta be there at 5:45. You would never have thought that that was the first time of us waking up after a week and a half of being off. Everyone was encouraging everyone to do deadlifts, you know, just squat a little bit lower, you know, get that extra rep in. And so I think that's what's so great about this program. Not the softball program by itself, but all of the women's sports. I mean, all of the men's sports as well, but women's sports especially. Soccer, they are always encouraging each other. Volleyball is always encouraging each other. Basketball, women's basketball is always encouraging each other. I used to live across the street, and I could always tell when they had a game going on because I could just hear them screaming out of the gym. You know, they don't get a lot of support I think they deserve, especially volleyball and stuff, but you wouldn't be able to tell because they support each other. And I don't think they realize that we feed off of that energy, that we feed off of that encouragement, because that is a different atmosphere to be a part of. It's just wanting to succeed so much, wanting so much for your teammate to succeed. And I believe that's what Lions softball is wanting your teammates to succeed. Coach Brewster would tell you himself, he uses his whole lineup. He might use his whole lineup during one game. You know, that's 20, that's 25 girls. So you have to be ready at all times. And it's never this woe it's me attitude when people don't get the start or they feel like they should be in a different position. It's always, okay, like I'm a root for this person because I know that, you know, I might get my time to shine, and when I do, they do make an impact. You know what I mean? So I think that is very important with the women's sports that we have. It's just our encouragement alone of just supporting each other on and off the field. Many times life is not perfect, and not only do we encourage them on the field to be better, but to take a mental break, you know, do some self-care. Like, you know, if you see a motivation, just send it out to your teammates and just be like, I thought this was a good thing, because you never know how this is going to hit. I think it's really important with women's sports that we also think about the pressures that we do put upon ourselves to be better. You know what I mean? We know that most of the time when you go into playing college, you have 4 years, and that's pretty much the end of you playing your sport ever. And so just knowing that, I think as a senior now, encouraging the young ones like Delaney Boley, Mackenzie Doogie, to be better, you know, and just to realize that they're great. And like, I honestly want them to surpass what me and Chelsea and Kinsey Hebler and the other fifth-year seniors did. And I think that says a lot about this program as well. It's just 5 out of our 7 seniors last year came back because we wanted one more year. And if you look at round and look at our conference, they maybe had 1 or 2. No, we had 5, like who want to come out and want to play and want to compete and wear Texas A&M Commerce on our back. You know what I mean? I think that's very special.
Yeah. And you hit on a bunch of different things about the younger generation as well, and like the younger players on your team. And, you know, I'd love to hear what you think about yourself as a role model, especially in a sport that you've mentioned you didn't see a lot of representation growing up. But, like, you know, I'd love to hear what you think about where you sit with that growing up, but as well as what you can do for the future generation coming after you.
Growing up, I mean, like Coach Brewster could probably say a lot, but I didn't watch a lot of softball just because, you know, I never really saw anyone who looked like me playing. Of course, you see maybe 1 or 2, maybe nowadays. So I just always want to be able to show young girls, especially young black girls, that, you know, you can be on a great team. You know, you have to work hard, yes, because that's what it takes to be great. But you have players like Lucy Ponce and Bailey Higgs. Bailey and I are actually from the same town, and I don't know if she knows it. She's 2 years older than me, but I looked up to her a lot. She's a lefty slapper. She's a center fielder, and she played here. And also Lucy, she's in our athletic department. She decided to come back. And times when I feel myself struggling either mentally or on the field, maybe my hitting's not right, she's always encouraging me to be better. You know, Lucy is very much, I know she's our biggest cheerleader. Even if she can't be out there every game or every practice like she wants to, I know she would be. She is very much always encouraging us, just like Bailey. She is always wanting to come out and just help whenever she can. And I mean, she's the Commerce High School head softball coach. And I think that speaks a lot about what this university, how it makes people feel. And it makes people want to come back home and just root for the younger ones, root for them to be better, because this program is one of the best program startups in history. We've only been here 6 years, and just look at how far we've gotten, but look how far we're about to go as well.
No, and I mean, we're shooting this interview in our
sure.
brand new Hall of Fame room
Exactly.
with a trophy case, where it's a lot of 6-year programs that start up, or it's programs that have been around for numbers of years that don't have some of the accolades that are in here, and this is just like, a snapshot of it, right?
For sure.
So it becomes the things that you're talking about, making sure that you're putting people in the spaces to excel, but also allowing people to see themselves, and I think that's what you just noted. That's super important. Like, we take a lot of the sports here, and like I've been in a lot of different places to know that it's not always a diverse makeup of teams, but that's not to anybody's detriment or fault all the time. But I know that we do a really good job here with our teams, how diverse they are and how they complement each other, whether it's men's sports or women's sports, as you noted, like, we do what we can here, and we make the best of it. And I appreciate the way that you shared it with how you noted some of the people that you actually looked up to.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I encourage you, and I'm sure you'll do it. Please reach out to those people and let them know. Like, let people get their flowers while they can, and let them know that they're making an impact. Something that we also would like to just hear from you and talk about is, what's your future plans, right? Like, you're a graduate, first graduate in your family, you're pursuing your master's. Like, we want to hear the stuff that you have planned, so it can be a springboard for the people that watch this, the young girls that look up to you. Like, I'm sure you've seen them at the games that say, oh, Ta'Lyn Moody's my favorite player. Like, things like that. Just hear what you plan on doing, and how you plan on actually helping them as well if they...
Well, what I plan to do is, after I finish school, I want to go into teaching. Personally, I want to go back to Mansfield, kind of go back to my roots and get a feel for it. Maybe in the future, hopefully being a head coach. I want to be able to show young women that they can succeed. It's not often that you do see women in head coaching positions. So I think that is very important to show that we can succeed, and no matter what we may go through. I don't have the white picket fence background. I didn't come from a full household. My mother was a single mother, and but she also made sure that I had that worth ethic established within myself. To want to be better for myself. You know what I mean? She didn't want me to ever feel like I was settling. And so I feel like, just striving for my personal excellence is going to make my future that much better. Now, whether I decide to continue to coach or whether I take another path and pursue art, because I do art on the side and stuff. So I know that I can be excellent at whatever I do, because programs like this one, my mother establishing that worth ethic and that go-getter mentality, I know I can be great at whatever I do.
Yeah. Hey, I agree. And, again, whatever you do, you'll be successful.
For sure.
I know that for sure. Is there any closing sentiments you want to give anybody before we head out?
I mean, personally, thanking Coach Brewster for bringing me to the program. I know he'd never really seen me play before. And so just kind of taking that leap of faith of, bringing me into the program. That's one thank you I would like to thank him. I also would like to thank my high school coach, Coach Prater. She was my rock in high school. I didn't think that I could play college softball ever. I just thought, maybe I can go to college, maybe I can go JUCO, whatever. But Coach Prater, she really told me, she sat down with me and was like, if you want something, you're going to have to work for it, but you can do it, Many times we still have conversations on the phone today, and she tells me how proud she is of me. And I know she is. It's going to make me tear up. Oh, man. Because she saw in me what I didn't see in myself my senior year. I think oftentimes we all overlook our capabilities. And she was definitely the big rock in my life during that time, that hard time of trying to go to school, transition from high school and going to school, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And again, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Again, everyone, I've been I've been fortunate enough to sit down with Ta'Lyn Moody from Lions Softball. You are fortunate enough to watch this interview with her. Please, whatever you can do, continue to be great, and go Lions.